how we experience our reality, the relationship that we have with time, the relationship that we have with consciousness, the relationship that we have with each other, the relationships that we have with ourselves, the relationships that we have with the conscious and the subconscious reality, your dreams, your non-physical reality, your connection to the soul or source, or all of these connections are how we experience are relative to the velocity of the expansion of consciousness. So seeing this reality from the perspective of humanity and seeing humanity as like when you look at the complexities of a flower and how a flower gets pollinated and pretty much the sexual reproduction organs of or mechanisms of a flower are the same as a human. You have the masculine and then you have the feminine, and then you have a seed that gets pollinated and reproduces another fruit or another berry, from all coming from the root structure of that flower being able to produce the stalk, the trunk, the canes, the flowers, the seeds. All of this is rooted in its own plane of experience, which is the same plane of experience that we are rooted in and are birthed from. This is where the scientism community and the half-assed version of the monkey evolution, Big Bang Theory human story comes in and says, well, since we know this, since we are aware of this information, then we are the smartest people in the universe. And since we know all this information and we discovered it, like they discovered the Americas, the so-called New World, then we can have dominance over consciousness and the people. So in a sense, it's time stealing. It's stealing our reality. So in reference to the relationship that the human experience has with consciousness overall and this earth plane, infinite plane experience, there is a very definite relationship between the level of consciousness of the conscious beings on this plane of existence and the plane of existence itself. How I'm seeing it is that the hardware, in reference to like comparison to like a computer, the hardware is the plane of existence in existence itself. The hardware is the body, the human body, the earth body. The software can be seen as consciousness, and the software of the soul could be, or the earth can be the collective tapping into our reality. The energy that predates the information that adds up to reproducing stuff like flowers and animals and every kind of life force energy, every piece of material that's part of this grand experience we call the earth plane, the infinite earth plane. How many different animals are here? How many different species of plants in the plant kingdom? How many different insects? How many different personalities in the human program? How many different cultures? How many different instruments come from those cultures? How many different, like, how the diversity is beautiful. And this is what the system is trying to keep us from understanding, with triggering the racism agenda, with triggering the LGBT agenda, with trying to confuse the relationship between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Because once you disrupt that relationship, you're disrupting the overall relationship, the relationship of reproduction. When you say that there's an overpopulation program, or an overpopulation thing going on, and it separates you from the rest of the earth plane. That's from a Western civilization perspective. Now, this is like telling you half the story to get you to think and act a certain way. Like they tell you that climate change is going on, so they can create these, and then they convince you to get this geoengineering information in your face, but they don't want to deal with the carbon emissions that are being put out by the money changers. So all of the blame has to go on to the individual. It's half-ass understanding, just like the half understanding of the relationship between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the half understanding of alchemy, which is at best the scientism perspective in relationship to the balances of alchemy of the science, true science, and the soul essence. These relationships are getting manipulated down to the very natures of the single mother household, destroying the energies, the masculine energy, literally emasculating the black man in Hollywood, with putting them in dresses and creating all of these celebrities that will do anything to just stay famous and stay in that, and they're choosing people with a level of consciousness that will continue to allow that to maintain the level of consciousness of the masses. This is what Hollywood is. This is what celebrities are. This is what the mainstream media is. It's all about manipulating the software, which is the consciousness of this entire experience. So if you just have a smartphone and you don't have any software, you basically have a paperweight. And even if you have that hardware, even if that hardware is sick and diseased, you basically have like a paperweight that's with like spikes on it. So it's going to, if you put it on like a piece of paper, it's going to put holes in that paper. So this system is about creating gaps in our reality to create codependent beings, not only to have people buying into the system, the physicality system of based upon separation and destruction, but to also separate the masses from tapping into their true potential. You can't just beat the shit out of people. You have to make them dumb at the same time. You have to disempower them so they won't fight back. This is what the public education system is. This is what the politics are, the university system, the Big Bang Theory. So when they tell you that you're just a monkey from a dinosaur, then you don't have any purpose or meaning. Your connection with the soul is null and void. You're just a thing that happens to exist by pure chance. That's what the monkey evolution program is. We just happened to exist. When you look at all of the intelligence that's part of something as simple as a flower, when you look at the intelligence that says something as simple as your dog and your cat, like the details of their existence, the experiencer is that. So that goes back to what I was saying in the last video. The experiencer is where the money really is. It's where the software really is. How you're going to interpret the reality is based upon the interpreter, the experiencer. So when you look at something as simple as a dog and a cat, if you're looking at it from that simple perspective, you say, oh, that's just a dog and that's just a cat. But it's the same way like looking at a flower. When you look at it, oh, that's just a flower. But you can look at a flower like you look at the person that you love, like looking at a woman. You can look into the depths of what made that person who she is. You can look at the intricacies, the details of the personality. You can look at the petals. You can look at the relationship between, like the ancient Egyptians understood, with the Ankh and the reproductive process, the relationship between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. The hardware has a direct reflection on the software when you have a relationship based upon, first and foremost, the non-physical. So when you have the physical being manipulated with genetic modification and psychological modification of understanding what the physical is with the heliocentric model and the university system, then that will affect the software. If you have a program that's affecting the software, which is the level of consciousness and your relationship with time, your relationship with the soul, the non-physical, your relationship with dreams, then that will also affect the hardware. This is a relationship. It's a dance that is not separated at all. We only believe it's separated because we have been sold a lemon car, so and just told that you're driving around a monkey car to just drive around. It's like giving a monkey a smartphone. Like if you give a monkey, so if we have the technology of consciousness, and you can see that the consciousness is like software and the hardware is like your smartphone. If the experiencer of that software and hardware, which is in that as that smartphone, you give that technology to a monkey, they're not going to experience the internet. They're not going to truly experience everything that they can experience on that phone. They're just gonna like beat it up against the wall or throw it around or wipe their butt with it. Whatever it is, that's what a monkey's going to do with a smartphone. It's basically just another rock. It's another thing. So this is what I was talking about in the last video about manipulating the experiencer and then creating a childlike adolescent magic trick to make individuals think that they are having a human experience, but we're not. We don't understand the software. We don't understand the depths of the hardware. When you don't understand consciousness, you're not going to understand the human experience. When you don't understand the relationship that you have with the plane of existence, the physical reality, this dimension, then you're not going to understand the maximum potential of the physical body. So when we are locked into this half-ass at best understanding of the alchemical relationship of humanity and the experience as a whole, then we just get locked down into this monkey mind version of using a smartphone. It's like a monkey using a smartphone. You're not going to get anything out of it. So I wanted to relate this to some questions that were asked yesterday about me speaking on the Mandela effect, and the another question speaking about like consciousness and how we are all connected. And these were two things that I really wanted to talk about after the last video, and really just kind of go into how this relates to the plane of existence as a whole, our relationship with the physical reality, the non-physical reality, time, the dream space, the conscious, the subconscious reality, the electric and magnetic, the duality existence, and the shifting of consciousness that I'm seeing and have been talking about since almost a year ago now in reference to the Mandela effect.